Good morning, everyone. I'm Micki. Welcome to Gentle Yoga. And if you have a mat, this would be great. Some other props that can be helpful in class might be blocks, and you might not have them. So if you have something that resembles a block that has some sturdiness, it can just help you get up and down from the floor and bring the floor up to you. And there's actually a lot of really fun things we can do with blocks too. Um, a blanket could be helpful, especially if you want extra padding under the knees. And then I also have some bolsters, but you could use pillows and they're not necessarily required. A strap or something like a strap, maybe like a belt of a coat could be helpful. And then the other things that are kind of bonus materials would be like a tennis ball, or if you have two tennis balls, you can take an ankle sock and tie them into the sock you tie the sock at the end, and then you're creating a little like massage surface for your back, your spine. Well, you will cradle in between your spine, and then the tennis balls can roll along your spine. So let's set these off to the side for now, and we'll just go ahead and start out in constructive rest pose. So you can set all your props off to the side and allow yourself to lie back on your mat. Allow your knees to tent together. And you can walk your feet out wide. Allow your spine to relax onto the mat. Allow your shoulders to melt away from the ears. And just start to scan the body and notice where you might be able to soften. Allowing the support of the floor beneath you and feeling the weight of gravity hug you to the earth. You might have a sense that there is an intention for your practice today. And you can bring that intention to mind. And today I'm going to offer a suggestion. If you don't have your own intention, I'm going to offer the suggestion of the niyama called tapas, which means self-discipline. So for the month of August, I'll be studying what's called the third niyama. There are 5 yamas and 5 niyamas, and these are part of yoga's ethical practices. And I have a reading from the book by Deborah Adele about tapas. Tapas literally means heat, and it can be translated as catharsis, austerities, self-discipline, spiritual effort, change, tolerance, or transformation. Tapas has the sense of cooking ourselves in the fire of discipline to transform ourselves into something else. It is our determined effort to become someone of character and strength. Tapas eventually changes our nature, turning us into a cauldron that can withstand any of life's challenges. Tapas is the day-to-day choice to burn non-supportive habits of the body and mind, choosing to forsake momentary pleasures for future rewards. Somewhere we forget that we had to learn how to walk. We forget how many times we fell. We forget that things take practice. The question becomes for us, what are we practicing for? To become something in the future takes great effort in the now. In yoga, having a daily disciplined practice is referred to as sadhana. It is the discipline of putting ourselves in places where the old debris that has collected in us can be removed. We engage in this process when we pay attention to the amount and kind of food we put in our bodies, when we move and exercise our bodies through walks, yoga, and other activities, and when we expand our mental ability or study scripture with like-minded people. Tabi Joyce reminds us, practice and all is coming. If you'd like to take that reading and boil it down into the idea of tapa, self-discipline, you can allow that seed of intention to plant itself at your heart center. And then release all thoughts, allowing yourself to come into the present moment. Allowing all thoughts of the past to release. And all plans for the future to wait. And you can spread your arms at your sides and then allow your knees to gently fall over to the left, sending your gaze over to the right. Just feeling a gentle rotation of your spine. You can take a nice deep breath here. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and float the knees up towards the sky. And on your exhale, you can allow them to fall over to the right as you turn your gaze over to the left. Allow yourself to settle in on this side. And take a nice deep breath. You can go ahead and start to windshield wiper the knees and nose from side to side, just following the pace of your own breath. Maybe you float the knees up on your inhale and exhale, windshield wiper the knees over to the right, turning the gaze to the left, and just continuing like this at your own pace. Go ahead and take one more round of breath on each side. And then whenever you're ready, we'll meet up in neutral with the knees up towards the sky. And this time you can press the palms up towards the sky, imagining you were able to plant them on the ceiling. On the next inhale, slide the shoulder blades up as you press the arms away. And then exhale to release the shoulder blades back down. You can take a few more rounds like this, inhaling to reach the hands up towards the sky and exhale to release the shoulders back down. Go ahead and take a few more rounds like this, sensing the stretch in the shoulders. And then when you're ready, we'll come back to center and you can bring your hands onto your opposite elbows. So you have kind of an I Dream of Jeannie box shape outside in front of your chest. So your elbows are pointing up and your hands are cradled onto your elbows. Now allow the knees to fall over to the left and you can slide the elbows across the chest towards the opposite side. Inhale, bring the elbows and knees back to center, and exhale, switch sides, allow the knees to fall to the right, and you can drag the elbows across the chest towards the left. We'll go a few more rounds like this. Go ahead and take one more round on each side. And then we'll come back to center, and you can release the hands at your sides. Flip the palms down towards the ground and then walk the heels in towards the sit bones. So now your knees are pointing up towards the sky and your feet are parallel. With the next inhale, you can float the arms up overhead, reach them past the ears. And then as you exhale, imagine you have angel wings and you can drip them down along your sides. Inhale to float the arms up and overhead. Exhale to slide them down along the ground. You can go a few more times just like this, allowing yourself to follow the pace of your own breath. You can allow your chin to slightly tuck towards your chest. And we'll take one more round in this direction. And then when your hands are back down by your hips, you can take a nice gentle rest here. And then when you're ready, we're going to inhale to slide the arms out to the side, angel winging them up and overhead past the ears. And then exhale to float the hands up towards the sky and draw them down towards the hips. Inhale to sweep your angel wings up. Exhale to rainbow them down. Go ahead and take a few more rounds just like this. And we'll take one more round. And when your hands are next to your hips, you can press the palms down onto the ground. Give yourself a moment to rest, softening all of your effort. And then with your heels walked in towards your sit bones, you can begin to inhale to lift the hips, pressing the hip points up towards the sky for bridge, lifting up onto the shoulder blades, and then exhale, allow the spine to roll back down, one vertebrae at a time. Let's take a few more rounds like this. Inhale to lift the hip points. Exhale to gently lower your spine back down. Inhaling for bridge. And exhaling to release. This time we're going to hold the bridge. So as you inhale to lift, you can tuck your chin towards your chest. You might shimmy your shoulders underneath the body so that you can interlace your hands behind you. Take a few nice deep breaths in your bridge. Using the strength of your glutes, your hamstrings, you might gently traction your heels back towards your knuckles. And then on your next exhale, we'll release the hands and once more allow the spine to roll back down one vertebrae at a time. You can pick up your heels and draw your knees toward your chest. Give yourself a nice gentle hug by wrapping your hands behind your thighs or around your shins, and you can gently rock side to side. Find a nice massage for the spine. Now, if you have that tennis ball situation, you can go ahead and grab it. You can either use a single tennis ball or it could even be a racket ball. That one's, I think, a little softer than the tennis ball. Or you can use the double. So if you're using the single, you'll roll onto one side and you can place the tennis ball anywhere between your shoulder blade and your spine. You might just find that place that feels good. And now if you have the double situation, you can do really the same thing. You're going to put both tennis balls down and then find that they're perpendicular to the spine so that your spine is resting in between the two tennis balls. And then you might find that you're able to massage along the spine, either just finding stillness or maybe gently rocking up and down. So find wherever feels good. You can explore movement or stillness, allowing yourself to maybe gently melt into the ball. Sending breath to any areas of tension or holding along the spine. Just really taking this time for yourself. Whenever that place feels complete, you can explore moving the tennis ball maybe a little lower in between the shoulder blade and the spine. And if you're using one tennis ball, whenever you're ready, you can switch sides by rolling to the side, removing the ball, and then rolling onto your opposite side and sending your hand behind you to place the ball in between the shoulder blade and the spine. You might keep your knees stacked on one side to make it a little gentler, or you can continue to roll onto your back, maybe stacking the feet on the mat, or even lengthening the legs, and you can rock a little bit on the heels, or maybe it feels better to find stillness. Just really allow any places tension or holding to just melt off of the back. So let's go ahead and take one more nice deep breath wherever you're at. And then when you're ready, you can release the ball off to the side. Allow your back to just continue to melt onto the earth, and you can extend your arms and legs long. Taking some deep breaths into any areas that might need attention. And then once more, we'll walk the heels in. You can draw the knees towards the chest. Give yourself a little hug by drawing your nose towards your knees. And then you can begin to rock and roll up the length of the spine. Whenever you're ready, we'll rock up into a seat. With the feet on the mat, you can extend the arms long for a modified boat pose or a gentler boat pose. If you'd like, you can bring your hands behind your thighs and rock back to find balance, extending the legs long, maybe even reaching out the hands using the strength of your core. And then when you're ready, you can land your feet, extend your arms, and let's place the palms so they're face down. We're going to slide the hands behind us, plant them underneath the shoulders, and then walk the heels in and lift the hips to come into altar pose. You might send your gaze down towards your core, up towards the sky, or allow it to fall gently behind you. On your next exhale, go ahead and land your hips, and you can bring the soles of the feet to touch. Maybe if you'd like some support here, you take the blocks, if you have them, underneath your knees, and then you can inhale to lengthen the spine, and exhale to fold at the hips, leading with the heart, coming into a forward fold. You might not have to go very far to feel sensation. And just remember that each pose is infinite. Where you are in that pose is going to change from day to day, year to year. So allow yourself compassion and curiosity in each shape. On your next inhale, you can press into the ground and lift back up to seated. And we'll come into a comfortable cross-legged seat. It's called Sukhasana. So you might even bring a blanket or a pillow to rest underneath the seat just to give you a little bit more height. And if you have a strap, you can bring that close by. And if you have blocks, you can bring them as well. You might use them later. So go ahead and find a comfortable cross-legged position. Allow your spine to lengthen. Allow your chin to gently tuck towards your chest. Allow the crown of the head to glow upwards. And your shoulders to melt away from your ears. On the next exhale, we'll allow the chin to bow all the way towards the chest, finding length through the back of the spine and the neck. You can take a nice deep breath here, inhaling and exhaling through the nose. And then on your next exhale, allow your right ear to float over towards your right shoulder, finding a nice gentle stretch on the left side of the neck. You can begin to find a little bit of movement here, gently beginning to nod the head yes. Practicing saying yes, inviting in new opportunities. And then gently begin to shake the head no, allowing yourself to release that which does not serve you. Practicing saying no. And then when you're ready, you can come back to stillness, and you might bring your right hand up and over towards the left side of your neck and just start to gently massage along the side of the neck. If you had essential oil like lavender oil that you liked or any kind of massage oil, you might even grab that, or just know that you can come back to this another time. Just finding any places of tension or holding, offering yourself gratitude for showing up, for the ability to give yourself this kindness and attention. When you're ready, you can release your right hand back down onto your right knee. We'll allow the chin to come back down towards center. And then you can float your left ear over towards the left shoulder, finding a nice gentle stretch through the right side of the neck. Take a nice deep breath, allowing the right shoulder to melt away from the ear. And then maybe you begin to gently nod the head yes. Noticing any sensations here, offering the breath to ease any tightness. Notice how you can use the breath to release that tension. And then go ahead and begin to shake your head no. Sending breath again to any areas of tension or holding. And feel free to pause if you have any places that need special attention. And then when you're ready, you can come back to stillness and draw your left hand up towards the right side of your neck. And give yourself a little bit of a massage from the base of your skull down the side of the neck. And then we'll go ahead and release the hand back down to the knee when you're ready. And you can allow the chin to once more circle down towards the chest, allowing your head to bow towards your heart. And then on your next inhale, you can lift the gaze back to center. Let's go ahead and switch out the cross of our legs so we can find some variety from our habitual patterns. And then if you have the strap, or really you could use a washcloth, a towel, anything that's going to allow your hands to stretch towards each other. We're going to bring the hands out wide to the side, and you're draping your strap over possibly your right hand. It doesn't matter if you do which side first. So I have it on my right hand, and I'm going to bring the hand with the strap up and over. So now my elbow is pointing up towards the sky. And then with your left hand, you can spin the thumb down towards the ground, wrap your hand around behind you, and begin to walk your hands together on the strap. If you don't have a strap, maybe your hands can even meet. Mine can't. But you could also grasp hold of your shirt and just hopefully not stretch it out too much, but just draw, allowing your hands to sort of meet or find that assistance of an extra length. Take a nice deep breath as you begin to point the right elbow up towards the sky. You might find just a nice gentle stretch through the shoulder. And then we'll go ahead and turn the gaze behind the left shoulder. So that's the shoulder that's down. Take a nice deep breath, lengthening the spine, and then exhale. You can bow your head to look down at your left thigh. We'll take one more nice deep breath on this side. And then with your next exhale, you can release all of that, bringing your hands back into your lap. Maybe you close down the eyes and just notice the sensations in your shoulders. And then we'll switch hands so you can flutter the eyes open. We'll bring the strap into the left hand, stretching both hands out wide to the side. You can bring the strap with the hand behind you, allowing the elbow to point up towards the sky, and then turn the right thumb down, and you can wrap that hand around behind you and just walk the hands towards each other on the strap. We call this cow face arms. Go ahead and lengthen through the back of the spine and the back of the neck as you press the head against the forearm, tucking the chin slightly and lengthening through the spine. On your next exhale, you can turn the gaze over the right shoulder, looking behind you, while keeping the spine and the torso facing forward, just finding a gentle stretch for the neck. And then you can go ahead and drop the gaze down towards the left thigh or the right thigh this time. Just take a moment to offer gratitude to the body. Once more to yourself for showing up for your practice. And then you can release the hands, bring the hands back onto the lap, and you can go ahead and toss the strap off to the side. Go ahead and take a nice deep breath here. And then once more, we'll reverse the cross of the legs. If your legs are getting tired of being crossed, you could also extend them out into a wide shape. And then let's bring the hands back to center, and you can interlace the fingers. Start to draw a few figure eights with the wrists. And just send some loving kindness to these wrists and the hands. Will do so much for you. You can reverse the direction when you're ready. And then we'll come back to center, and you can extend the palms out forward as you round the spine back, drawing the chin towards the chest. Exhale all your breath. And then on your inhale, you can float the hands up towards the sky, lengthening the spine. And then on your next exhale, we'll turn to the left, turn the torso to the left. And then you can reach the hands down, bringing the right hand onto the left knee, and maybe taking a block with the left hand so you can have a little bit of leverage. Or if you can, reach your left hand down to either the blanket, or maybe you even wrap that left hand around behind you so you can traction it onto your hip or even your right thigh. And you can send the gaze behind your left shoulder. And then when you're ready, we'll allow the chin to once more trace the front of the chest. And you can send just the gaze behind your right shoulder. Take a nice deep breath, and then with your next exhale, you can release that effort. Let's once more switch out the cross of our legs. And then we'll do that same motion on the second side. So this time, go ahead and try and interlace your fingers so that they're the opposite way. We'll warm up a little bit with the wrists once more. So drawing your figure eights. And then reversing your figure eights. And then you can flip the palms and press the chest back as you reach the palms forward, finding an arch in the spine like cat pose. And then we'll inhale to draw the spine up tall, lengthening. You might look up. And then exhale, turn the torso and the arms to the right. You release the hands down, bring the left hand onto the right knee. And then find any comfortable position for your right hand, maybe on a block, resting at the low back, or reaching your hand towards your hip or thigh, left thigh. You can turn the gaze over the right shoulder. With each inhale, lengthen through the spine. And each exhale might allow you to gently twist a tiny bit further. On your next exhale, allow just the chin to trace the front of the chest. And then you can guide your gaze behind your left shoulder. Whenever you're ready, go ahead and release the twist, coming back to center. We're going to be heading to hands and knees, but if you don't like being on your knees, you can also do cat-cow seated. So I'll just demonstrate that, bringing your hands onto your knees or your shins. You can round the spine back for cat pose on your exhale, and then inhale, lift the chest to come into cow. So feel free to stay in a seated position to explore that, or if you'd like to find hands and knees, tabletop, you can bring a blanket underneath the knees for some additional padding, a blanket or even a bolster if you need more padding. So feel free to give yourself what you need, and we'll plant the palms underneath the shoulders, the knees underneath the hips. And then on your next inhale, you can drop the belly, rounding the spine for cow pose. And then exhale, drawing the belly button towards the spine as you round into cat. Go ahead and take a few rounds of cat and cow, following the pace of your own breath. After a few rounds, you might begin to find any additional movements here that might feel good, like perhaps drawing a circle with the belly button. Feel free to pause anywhere that feels good. Just keep moving at your own pace. Remembering this is your own practice. You might reverse the direction of your circles. You can start to develop an awe and wonder at the design of your perfect body and all of the different directions that your spine can move. Take one more round in whichever direction you're going, and then we'll come back to center. We're going to find child's pose. So you can bring the big toes to touch, open the knees up wide, allow the hips to sink back as you walk the hands out in front. Lower the forehead down to the mat and relax into your child's pose. If you'd like, you can walk the elbows a little bit closer together, bring the palms to touch, and then bend into the elbows to bring the palms to the fingertips to trace the back of the skull. Take a nice deep breath in whichever version of child's pose feels good to you. And then whenever you're ready, we'll come back to hands and knees. And on your next inhale, you can float the left arm up towards the sky, opening the chest, opening the heart. And then on the next exhale, we'll slide that hand underneath the body and come into thread the needle pose. So you're coming onto your left shoulder, allowing your left temple to rest. You could continue to support your weight with your right hand, or you might walk that right hand out in front like child's pose, or you could spin the hand around and allow the back of the palm to rest at the low back. Neither one of these options is superior to the other. It's just choices, noticing sensation and keeping with the breath. On your next exhale, you can go ahead and plant that right palm if it's not already underneath the shoulder. And then we'll inhale to press into the right hand and open up through the left side. On your next exhale, you can plant the left hand, and then we'll inhale to swivel the right arm open, lifting the heart and lifting the gaze. And then on the next exhale, you can thread the needle under, coming onto the shoulder, allowing the temple to rest. You're welcome to stay here and continue to support yourself with your left hand, or you could walk your left fingertips out in front, or even swivel that hand around and allow it to rest at the low back. Allow yourself to settle in to any position that feels best to you. Notice where you can relax effort. Whenever you're ready, you can release that hand. Plant it back down on the mat. So we're planting the left palm underneath the shoulder. Press into the mat And then you can inhale to open up through the right side. And whenever you're ready, you can exhale to release. For the next few poses, you may choose to remove the blanket because it might just feel like too much padding because we're going to be coming down onto our bellies. So we're going to come onto the forearms and then get ready for a forearm plank. But there's a lot of different ways to make this gentler. You can also either have your palms on the ground or you can interlace your hands, whichever feels best to you. Let's start with a calf stretch. So you can stretch your left leg back, tuck the left toes under, and press the heel towards the mat. Finding length through the back of the leg. And keeping your chest lifted so you're engaging instead of slouching towards the ground. And whenever you're ready, we'll return that knee to the mat. You can extend the right leg behind you, tuck the toes under, press the heel towards the mat, and allow the breath to cascade down the back of the leg. Take a nice deep breath here. And then when you're ready, you can extend both legs back, but feel free to lower down onto the knees to make this a little bit gentler of a plank. You can stay in your plank either with your knees lifted or your knees lowered for a few rounds of breath or however long you'd like. And then whenever you're ready, you can lower down onto the belly. And we'll go ahead and untuck the toes, stretching the legs long behind us. And you can plant the elbows underneath the shoulders with your palms face down on the mat. We'll begin to traction the palms back as you reach the heart forward for Sphinx pose. Take a nice deep breath in this gentle back bend, and you might decide to roll the shoulders up towards the ears and exhale, allow them to cascade down the back. If that felt good, you can do 2 more rounds, rolling the shoulders up. And then exhale, allow them to roll down the back as you lift the heart forward. Maybe one more time like this. And then whenever you're ready, we'll bring the elbows out wide to the sides and stack the palms to lower the forehead down onto the back of the hands for crocodile pose. Allow yourself to relax all effort. Maybe you sigh out the mouth, releasing any tension or holding from the body. Allow your breath to fill the whole back body, our seat of self-care. And then whenever you're ready, we'll turn the gaze over to the left as you reach your hands down. And you can allow your temple to rest on the mat. If your right temple is having a hard time reaching, can help to tuck your toes under and just press yourself a little bit further forward to make a little room so that your temple can come down to the mat. Allow yourself to soften here. And take a moment to delight in this time of rest. On your next inhale, we'll lift the heart, lift the arms, bring the gaze back to center, just off the edge of the front of your mat. Lift the feet and come into a flying superhero position for locust pose. You can take a nice deep breath here. And then with your next inhale, you might float the arms forward and then exhale to swim them back. Maybe you take two more rounds like this. Inhale to float the arms forward. Exhale to fly them back. And one more time. On your next exhale, turn your gaze to the right and then allow your left temple to rest on the mat. Once more, if it feels too far away, you can always tuck your toes under and just slide yourself a little bit further forward so that your temple can rest on the mat. Once more, allow yourself to soften all effort. And we're going to get ready now for a chest opener. So make sure you have a lot of room next to you to bring your arms out beside you in a letter T shape. We're going to roll onto the right side. As you creep your right fingertips behind you, you can allow your temple to rest here and soften your effort. Allow your legs to stack. You might either continue to support yourself with your left hand out in front, or you could swivel that hand behind you to rest at your low back. Another option, if you'd like to deepen the stretch, would be to bend into your left knee and just simply place the left foot behind you. But I prefer a quad stretch here, so I like to reach down with my left hand to grasp hold of my left ankle and then flex your feet, your toes towards your knees as you allow that left knee to melt down towards the right knee. Take a nice deep breath here, noticing where you can soften your effort and balance it with your ease. And remembering that it's okay also if this is enough sensation to just leave the legs stacked and continue to support yourself with your left hand out in front of you. Wherever you land, take a nice deep breath, and then when you're ready, you can release that breath. We'll roll back onto the belly, and then you can extend your arms out into a letter T shape again. And this time we'll creep the left fingertips behind us as we roll onto the left side, opening through the chest. You can allow your temple to rest, and then either leave the legs stacked, maybe you bring the right hand to rest on the low back behind you. You can also step that right foot behind the left leg, or maybe you reach down with your right hand to grasp hold of the ankle, bending into the right knee, allowing the right knee to melt towards the left knee. We'll take a nice deep breath here. And feel free to explore options and find which variation is your favorite. Whenever you're ready, we'll release the foot, and then you can roll back onto the belly. We'll bring the palms underneath the shoulders, and you can press up through table or plank and either find child's pose or a downward facing dog. If you're wanting to take a down dog, you can plant your palms a little forward of your wrists, tuck the toes under, and press the hips up and back for downward facing dog. You might take a moment to pedal your heels towards your mat, sashaying the hips a little side to side. And once more, you can shake the head no and nod the head yes. And then we'll take a moment to walk or hop to the front of our mat. So you can walk your feet to your hands or your hands to your feet. And we'll find ourselves in forward fold. Go ahead and wrap your arms around your opposite elbows, and you can allow yourself to gently ragdoll here side to side. You can take your feet as wide as feels comfortable for you. Allow room for your belly. And then we'll release the hands. Bring the hands towards the ground, and you can slide them up onto your shins. Or if you have your blocks handy, which mine aren't really handy, but I'll take one of them. You can press your palms onto the blocks and lift up halfway. So either way that feels good to you. We'll just bring both my blocks underneath my hands here. On your next exhale, you can forward fold and then bend into your knees a little bit so you have some nice soft knees, and allow your spine to roll up one vertebrae at a time. You can allow your head and neck to be the last to lift. And then once we arrive in standing, you can inhale your arms up overhead and exhale to draw the hands to the heart center. From standing, if you have your tennis ball, because that's kind of what we're using today, and but you of course don't have to do this, but if you have your tennis ball, let's take a moment to massage the feet, the bottom of the feet. So you can take the tennis ball and just step on it with one foot, grounding into the other foot. This is a little bit of a balancing pose too. And then I like to just glide my foot up and down the length, or the ball up and down the length of my foot. At this time, you can also just explore stillness too. If you find one particularly interesting spot you want to hold for a breath. And you might cultivate gratitude for your amazing feet, all the places they take you. And when you're ready, we'll switch sides. So coming back to stand for a moment, you might just notice the differences from left to right. And then ground down in that foot that just got the massage, and you can bring the other foot on top of the ball and just start to glide your foot, possibly up and down the ball. And giving yourself a nice, gentle foot massage. Sending some nice deep breaths into the foot. And also gratitude. And then when you're ready, we'll kick that ball off to the side. We're going to stretch through the top sides of our feet. So come back to standing in mountain pose. Ground your feet down. You can bring your hands to your hips for more balance, or if you need some more support, you can always walk over to a wall space. What we're going to do now is ground down through the left foot, and you can tuck the right toes under, so you're really stretching through the top side of your foot and your ankle. Trying to make sure you can see what I'm doing here. So the toes are tucked under, finding balance or finding support of the wall. And once more, send the breath all the way down into the feet. Send some gratitude. And then we'll go ahead and release that side, coming back to stand. And then when you're ready, we can switch sides, tucking the toes under, feeling the stretch through the top side of the foot. Whenever you're ready, we can untuck the toes, step the feet out wide, and just allow yourself to shake it off. Allow your arms to gently graze your sides. And then we'll come back to center. And you can step the feet out a little bit wider than hips distance. Reach the arms out wide to the sides. You can go ahead and draw the hands into fists. You can point the knuckles forward and then begin to rotate the knuckles up towards the sky. Exhale to rotate them down towards the ground. You can go ahead and take 2 more rounds like this. Inhale to reach the knuckles up. Exhale to spin them down. And then we'll release that, bringing the fingertips wide to the sides. And then with your next exhale, bring your right hand over the top of your left and give yourself a nice big hug, reaching your hands onto your shoulder blades. You can allow the breath to fill the back of the body. Take a moment to revisit your intention for your practice today. And then with your next inhale, we'll open the hands up wide to the side, reach the fingertips towards the walls. And then with your next exhale, bring the left arm over the top of the right to give yourself a nice big hug. This time you might imagine that you're hugging someone you haven't seen for a long time that you would love to give a nice big hug to. Send them a blessing. And then allow your inhale to fill the back of your body through your shoulder blades and your spine. And then with your next inhale, we'll open the arms up wide to the side and exhale to release your hands to your sides. Let's make our way to the top of our mats and we'll inhale here to lift the arms up towards the sky, lift the heart and the gaze. And then exhale, you can swan dive forward, leading with the heart. Inhale here for halfway lift, either pressing onto blocks or onto your shins. Exhale to forward fold. And then you can plant your hands on the mat or maybe on blocks on the low setting and walk your feet back to find downward facing dog. When you're ready, we'll lower our knees towards the mat and you might take a moment to just hover your knees, finding a little bit of strength in your core. Take a few deep breaths here and crouching tiger. And then when you're ready, you can go ahead and gently land the knees. We'll walk the knees forward and come onto our seats. From here, go ahead and bring your arms out in front and find strength in your core as you gently, slowly hover down. Eventually making your way onto your mat, you can hug your knees towards your chest. Give yourself a nice big hug, rocking from side to side. And then you can walk your hands up towards your shins, drawing your knees towards your armpits, or maybe up onto your feet. Or you could even wrap your peace fingers around your big toes to find a happy baby pose. It might feel good to gently rock from side to side, gently massaging the spine. And if there are any last poses you'd like to take before your final rest, you're welcome to take them now. Maybe you like to take a spinal twist. Or perhaps you'd like to rest with your legs up the wall or drape your legs on a couch cushion just to get a gentle inversion. Find whatever feels good to you. And then prepare yourself for your final resting pose, Shavasana. Shavasana is also known as corpse pose. So if you're ready for a corpse pose, either with legs up the wall or on a couch, or you might even come back to that first pose we started class in, constructive rest pose, with the feet as wide as the mat and the knees tented together, either allowing the arms to rest at your sides or allowing your hands to rest on your belly. Wherever you land, allow your forehead to soften. Notice if you can relax the hinge of your jaw. Allow your shoulders to melt onto the mat. And then once more, we'll revisit our intention for our practice. I have another few quotes from Deborah Adele's book, The Yamas and the Niyamas. Saint Francis of Assisi in his well-known prayer speaks eloquently of the possibilities of transformation for each human being. Lord, make me an instrument of thy peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. Tapas is growing our ability to stay in the unknown and the unpleasantness rather than run in fear. It is the willingness to be both burned and blessed. The discipline of tapas will mold us into someone of great depth and profoundness if we let it. Can we stand the heat of being dismantled and changed forever by the fire? Can we prepare ourselves daily through our practice, our staying power, and our choices? Can we stay in the burning with integrity? And can we hold on for the blessing? You can go ahead and allow yourself to relax all effort, imagining that your thoughts are like graceful clouds. Allow them to gently pass by. No need to stop them, no need to hold on to them. And just allow yourself to observe them and let them go. Take a moment to feel the earth rise to support you. Imagine if you were laying on a sandy beach, this unique impression of yourself on the sand. An impression only you can make. Feel the support and the abundance of the earth rise to meet you. Feel the gentle hug of gravity. And then take a moment to zoom out into the universe, noticing this place, you within the vastness of the universe. And then what a miracle it is to be together here today in this time and place. With each inhale, you can allow your heart space to grow in all directions, increasing your capacity to give and receive love from your heart. And then when you're ready, you can deepen your breath, begin to invite a little bit of movement into your fingers, into your toes. Begin to rotate your wrists and your ankles. With your next inhale, you can reach your arms up past your ears and find a long body stretch from your heels all the way to your fingertips. And then when you're ready, you can roll onto one side, coming into a fetal position, cradling your head on your bicep. Allow yourself a moment here, taking a few rounds of breath. And then with the strength of your arms, you can press yourself up into a seat. You might invite your hands to meet at your heart center, allowing your head to bow towards the wisdom of your loving heart. It's such an honor and a privilege to guide you through this practice today. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. Namaste.